I heard a quote today. It was so freaking good. To all my ladies and gents out there, listen to this quote. If you haven't heard it, I'm about to drop a gem on you. Never go grocery shopping when you're hungry because you'll grab the wrong things. Never go into a relationship when you're lonely because you'll grab the wrong thing. When you search for something out of desperation, you grab what you want, but not what you need. I love this so much. It touches on a primary aspect that many of us struggle in with relationships as well as careers. And it just shows you that in desperation, you will lower standards. And standards are key to a quality life. One of my previous talks, I said low quality standards lead to low quality experiences. And it's no wonder, when you're out of desperation and you're going to auction your mate choice, like you're going to lower your standards because you feel so lonely that anything that comes your way is good enough. That's where we make mistakes, right? And so this quote is amazing because it makes you look at all the decisions in your life and how you can not make the decisions when you're in a moment of despair. And when it comes to relationships, and people will ask me, especially a lot of times, because I was single for a very long time throughout building my businesses, like, why are you single? Like, as if I have a disease, why am I single? Being single is not a bad thing. And people choose to be single in the same way that they choose to be in a relationship. And while the people who ask that question, this is what I figured out. The people who ask, why are you single, are usually the people that want a relationship. And we're not in the same wavelength. And so I'm like, because I want to. Like, genuinely, I want to. And there's people who, maybe they don't want to be single. And hopefully this quote resonates with you because be patient, keep working on yourself, but don't settle or lower your standards because you're lonely and you want something to walk into your life. Because when you're at that base level where you're not at the top confidence, you feel lonely, it's very easy for anything to creep in, and the standard is so low that somebody doing the bare minimum will feel like so much because you're in a moment of like you feel lonely. We could be alone and not feel lonely. Like, you can be single and happy. You could be single and want a relationship and not rush into it. And that's the healthy headspace you can be in when it comes to creating healthy relationships in your life, whether it be a romantic, intimate relationship or friendships. When we operate and enter the world from a place of whole, we can only meet people at that level or attract those people. And it's not an easy thing to do, but with awareness, like always, you can have that grasp over yourself and continue to, start the day every day and navigate through life and this journey of life with bringing your best foot forward. And so this correlates to something I wanted to share with you guys about low quality standards leading to a low quality life. And in other words, you can, when you lower your standards, right, and you associate with somebody at a lower status, what impact does that have on you, right? Because I've seen some of the most confident people crumble after a relationship. I've seen some of the most happy people, right, become depressed. And it's because when you lower your standards, and that doesn't always, you don't see it happening. Like, you meet a person, it's like standards lowered. A lot of this happens behind the scenes on the backdrop, and it's things to look for that you have to meet people. Like, don't set your expectations too high, but you have to meet people that meet your standards. And when I ask somebody, what are your standards? It gets real quiet. It's no wonder you're not surrounded by healthy and happy. I don't like the word happy. It's no wonder you're not surrounded by healthy, functional relationships. If you haven't identified what your standards are, how are you going to communicate or maintain that within your relationships? That is so, so key. And so, given a choice through mating choices, any of us would want to pick someone who's good for us, who is on the hierarchy, like on the top of it. Because when we associate with somebody with lower values or lower status in any shape or form, you can call it whatever package you want: low attractiveness, it's low economic status, low in ambitious needs, personality traits, whatever that lower status is. If you were to associate with that, imagine bringing that person around your friends and family. How would you feel? Like there was somebody that was of lower status and you were forced to go out with them, and you would feel ashamed, embarrassed, not because of you, but because of the association with that person. And I believe people will say that your spouse or your partner is a reflection of you, more than just your spouse, your friends, your group of circle. The impressions formed around you, your reputation is greatly influenced by the people around you. Like we're constantly making status evaluations on one another. And this isn't to say that like people's opinions matter, but this matters for you to understand who you associate yourself with, because if you want to have high quality experiences in your life, you want a high quality partner, high value woman, high value man, then you have to have higher standards, but you cannot have such high expectations, because that's going to lead to so much disappointment. To have high standards is amazing. To expect people to meet those standards all the time is nearly impossible. Humans are not capable of meeting standards 100% of the time, and it's because we make mistakes, and that's okay. But it's our job to tell people what our standards are. And when our standards are continuously not being met, there's a reoccurring pattern over and over again. That's when you address the standards, if you've never addressed it before. But if you haven't addressed your standards or boundaries, you can't get upset by what's being reciprocated to you, because the lines were never drawn. And so a question I get asked a lot is, how do you walk away from people? How do you communicate with people what you don't like without them getting upset? And I like to lay that all out in the very beginning. Have the hard conversations in the beginning. And so going back to the quote that I shared with you guys, it's so important to have that basic awareness of, am I operating from a place of lack or a place of whole? Because as long as you're feeling lack, you're going to grab for anything. You're going to negotiate, lower your standards. You're going to auction yourself. You're going to go for things or people. And you know what? I'm going to take this a step further. I hear way too many girls saying, I don't even know why I dated that guy. Like, and I'm going to tell you why. Because women who don't feel fully whole or confident tend to attract these type of men. And furthermore, women take the role of wanting to fix men. And it's not to say it's not reversed, but women, given that we're caregivers and nurturing and we have that quality, tend to want to take care of men and carry on the emotional burdens and fix them. There are things to be worked on in a relationship, but when it comes to character and personality, you can't change a person. And if they're not meeting the basic standards, and there should be 3 primary standards for you. Example, I want someone who's honest, I want someone who shows up on time, I want someone who's respectful. If those 3 standards aren't met, I don't believe that this is something you can embed into a human being. So you have to find somebody who meets you there, and whatever issues arises through that relationship, that's where you work with one another, right? There's a lot of work within relationships, and that is normal. But to lower your standards in order to find love, I don't believe in that at all. Love isn't that difficult if you find the right person who meets, matches, and honors your standards. But that starts with you. You have to identify those standards. You have to know what you want and keep that awareness of, am I making a decision because I just want it or because I need it? And you're going to find out that a lot of the things that we're allowing into our lives, a lot of the things that we're settling for, are not things that we need, but things that we want or desire. I hope this talk was helpful. If you find that this was useful and a friend could possibly benefit from it, please do share this video and give it a like and subscribe. It's things like this that help my channel grow. And I thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next episode.